Hey there! Stay logged on to your number one award-winning online radio station, Hafak Online Radio, the radio for the society.
Hi everyone, good evening and welcome on board. Welcome to your number one radio for society, Hafak Online Radio. My name is Oladekwalade Oladuni, and yes, this is dayo'shour. It's a show that actually keeps you on track of what's going on and keeps you updated with important matters. Yeah, you can follow our Instagram handles at Hafak Online Radio, or you can as well follow my personal page at I_am_Duni. Yeah, I would like us to go on a very short break. I'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Are you struggling with hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, arthritis, prostate, hepatitis, impotence, and infertility? If you are, then here is great news. This stores an online sales and distribution store brings to you Maxcel GBT. Maxcel GBT is an immune boosting and wellness supplement and helps in supporting cellular functions. Maxcel GBT is manufactured by Max International. Hurry now to these online stores and purchase your Maxcel GBT today. Reach out to these online store on Instagram at ZEES_online stores or call 080-2125-2888. Pickup and nationwide delivery is available. Remember, a healthy being is an active being.
This advert is powered by Hafak Online Radio.
Welcome back. It's still Hafak Online Radio, and of course, it's your humble host Dayo, and of course, this is dayo'shour. So today, we'll be speaking on our topic, which is attitude. Yeah. What prompted me to actually speak about this? What prompted me to actually speak about this topic is very funny, but let's just move on. So when we talk about attitude, attitude is a settled way of thinking or feeling about something. One of my very best quotes about attitude is a quote by Winston Churchill, and what does it say? It says, attitude is a very little thing that makes a big difference. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. That's one of my favorite quotes on attitude. And when we talk about attitude, attitude goes a very long way in our lives and actually helps us both in life, events, situations, and a whole lot of things, places, people, our attitude towards these things are actually very important. Our attitude towards people, towards places, things, situations, they actually, determine the choices that we make. And attitude can actually mean our response to people, to places, to things, events in lives, and it can actually be referred to as a person's viewpoints, mindset, beliefs, religion, and so on. Attitude is composed of three components, which actually includes the cognitive component, the emotional or affective component, and the behavioral component. Basically, the cognitive component is actually based on the information or knowledge, that we have or ideas, while affective component is actually based on the feeling. Then behavioral component actually refers to how the attitude affects, the way we actually act or the way we behave. For instance, in case of a person who is actually scared of injection or a needle, just like me. Please, injections, needles on my body. No. It's one of the worst things I hate, and I always pray never to just come. I prefer a bucket full of drugs than for me to take just one injection. So let's, for example, now in case of a person who's actually scared of an injection, and the cognitive component might be the fact that the injection will hurt, from knowledge, from what he or she has heard before, while on the other hand, the affective component would be the feeling that, he or she is scared of injection. Somebody like me now have that emotional thing that, God, I don't want this, I don't want that, you get, while the behavioral component will now be how I'm going to behave at that particular time, to actually be how the person would completely avoid getting the injection. So, somebody like me now, I won't be stable, I would scream, I would beg, I'll just do a whole lot of things, you get. So an attitude is actually a very essential, like it's just a very like an evaluative statement that's actually either positive or negative depending on the degree of like or dislike for the person, for the matter in question. So we have types of attitude. We have the positive attitude, the negative attitude, and the neutral attitude. When we speak of positive attitude, is actually individuals who actually have a positive attitude will actually pay good attention to the good rather than the bad. They'll actually see the good in somebody, in situations, in events, in places, and they will not consider a mistake or failure as a hurdle, but instead they will actually consider it as an opportunity, and they learn from their mistakes and move on. So attributes to positive attitude is actually confidence. We have sincerity, optimism, we have tolerance, we have diligence, we have determination, we have sense of responsibilities and so on. Moving on to negative attitude, people with negative attitude actually ignore the good and pay attention to the bad in situations and people and so on. It's just like the vice versa it's just like positive attitude, but the negative of it, opposite of it. So also, they're actually just likely to complain about changes, rather than them adapting to maybe a new environment or a change in environment. All they do is they'll rather complain, do a whole lot of things, and they also blame others for their failure. An attribute to this, we have anger, we have hatred, jealousy, resentment, doubt, and so on. Moving on to neutral attitude, people with neutral attitude don't actually give enough importance to situations or events, and they actually just ignore the problem, leaving it for somebody else to solve, and also they don't feel the need to change. So their traits also include detachment, unemotional, indifference, and so on like that. So it should actually be noted that there's actually a very thin line between personality traits and what we call attitude. It's kind of, it's just a very little line. They almost mean the same, but it's actually not the same. And it must also be noted that one's behavior may actually not always reflect on one's attitude. So, however, it's kind of a complicated issue. So I would like us to go on a very short break. I'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back. It's still Hafak online radio, and of course this is dayo'shour. Moving on, attitude is one of the most important factors in helping you get through the highs and lows of life. And since attitude actually spells out how a person copes, or whatever perspective you may hold will actually have an effect in your performance or the way you handle things. So in one state of mind, it is very often easy enough to actually generalize than to analyze in some particular kind of event. And it's actually, that is to say that once a particular attitude is formed, it is highly likely that it is what often comes out of a person. So moving on to what causes bad attitude, we set unrealistic expectations or try to change too much at one time. Then when we actually encounter an obstacle, we actually overreact and possibly give up on what we planned or our plan or what we are trying to do, which reinforces a negative attitude. And we think that any uncomfortable feeling is unwarranted and a sign of weakness on our own part. Like it's a sign of weakness on our own part. So we actually just give up on ourselves. So we have some possible reasons behind negative attitude. We have the fact that we don't want to be disappointed. Daring to hope for the best feels too vulnerable to us, and we feel threatened. We have been disappointed by people or situations in the past, and now protect ourselves by expecting the worst. We actually figure that if we don't expect anything good to happen, we won't experience any letdown. So when things doesn't go well, we haven't developed sufficient skills to deal with life not going our way. So we just shut down the project ahead of us, or we just shut down the relationship, or we just do a whole lot of shut other things that we're doing right ahead of time. And we don't want to be rejected. It's just almost the same as we don't want to be disappointed. If we're afraid that other people might not approve of us, we decide either consciously or unconsciously to beat them to the punch and not like them at first at all. And after all, if you actually discount someone else's importance or ability, this often actually soften any comment they might actually make about us. And we also set unrealistic expectations, or we try to change too much at one time. Like I said all the time, we think in black and white terms. And what do I mean by that? If you can't do something perfectly, we're actually afraid to try doing it at all. And if we can't please everyone, we don't see a point of being agreeable to anyone at all. And this is actually self-defeating and can lead us to giving up on trying new things or attempting anything, including trying to change our attitude for the better. So next is how we allow life to treat us when it comes to attitude. How let the positive in it, take actions and then let it go. If you have something you need to get done and you have actually been putting it off because the result could go either way, the best way for it to do is improve your attitude. Just improve your attitude and just take the appropriate action required and then let it go. Holding on, worrying and wasting precious time will only put you will only drain your attitude even the more. Like you have that ginger, let me say, put it like that, you have that vibe. So if you remember that life is for living and what will definitely be, then you can actually go far wrong. So worrying is a complete waste of your time. If it's going to happen, it will actually happen anyway. So whether you worry or not, it will definitely happen. Spend time also with those who share your positive attitude. Remember to always forgive easily and easily the limitations of others. Always act with purpose. And don't compare yourself with others. If you want to improve your attitude to life and to those around you, quit comparing yourself to others. It's humorous to compare our lives with others, but when we do it too often, we actually drag ourselves down and we start to think that life isn't going the way it's supposed to go. So, when we compare, we think someone else's life looks better than ours. And it's actually very important to remember that we are just only observing the external view. We don't know what's going on down there. We don't know what's going on in there. And so it may actually look different behind closed doors. So compare yourself the worry. So spare yourself the worry and actually stop comparing. Expect the best out of every situation instead of the worst. So I'd like us to go on a very short break. I'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back. It's still Hafak online radio, and this is dayo'shour. And of course, I'm still the humble host. So can attitude change? Definitely, attitude can actually change. And attitudes are very important because they can actually guide your thoughts, behavior, and feelings. Attitude change occurs anytime an attitude is modified. So attitude occur. Like a change in attitude occur when a person goes from being positive to negative, or from slightly positive to very positive, or from no attitude at all to having one. And how do we improve our attitude? There are ways which we can improve our attitude. Always act with a purpose.